Manitou Springs is nestled at the base of Pikes Peak, one of the most iconic mountains in the Rockies. The town seems cozy as it's tucked in a narrow valley surrounded by forested hills and rock formations. It's picturesque for sure. Being only 6 miles from Colorado Springs, it's accessible yet distinct from the larger city. We made our first stop at the visitor center to learn more about the springs in the area and the free shuttle service. We hate finding a place to park, especially since Casper doesn't fit in many parking spots very well, so we always take advantage of free shuttles when available. Some people consider Manitou Springs an authentic hippie town. Locally owned shops can have an organic feel, and there's clearly an appreciation for art here. They tend to not take themselves too seriously. Their events and festivals have a relaxed and inclusive atmosphere. One of the quirkiest events has to be the Emma Crawford Coffin Races that happens annually. Participants dress up and race coffins down Manitou Avenue in honor of Emma Crawford, whose coffin reportedly slid down the mountain during a storm in the late 1800s. Manitou Springs is famous for its natural mineral springs, which are believed to have therapeutic properties. We picked up a map at the visitor center to locate each one and gave them a try. Each had its own unique taste. Actually, they weren't as bad as what we thought they'd be. The town was originally founded as a spa-like tourist destination for folks suffering from tuberculosis. Along with what was thought to be the healing properties of the springs, the high altitude and clean air increased the lifespan of someone with the disease. We were told not to miss the old penny arcade. I wasn't expecting it to be so big. The arcade opened its doors in 1903 and it's been running ever since. It's one of the oldest continuously operated arcade museums in the United States. And yes, you can still play many of the vintage games that still accept pennies. It was a blast.
Sticker. There you go. It's tilted.
One of the very cool things I liked about Manitou Springs are their historical buildings. Many were designed to blend into the natural surroundings. Some of the oldest buildings date back to the late 19th century when the town experienced its initial boom as a health resort. Over the years, several historic buildings were converted into shops, galleries, and restaurants. Although Manitou Springs is relatively small in size, between 5,000 and 6,000 people, downtown can be a busy place. It's popular. I like to look for places to relax in the midst of chaos. Soda Springs Park is in the middle of downtown and allows you to return to the natural beauty of the area. It's a breath of fresh air. One of our favorite places to eat when we are here is Rudy's. They have great barbecue, and you can fill up on gas when you're here. Weird, right? Ever since I was a kid, I've wanted to visit Cave of the Winds, maybe because of all the signs. It's one of the longest operated tourist attractions in the Pikes Peak area. We took the Discovery Tour. There were stairs to climb and uneven surfaces, but it was doable. The tour took about 45 minutes.
7 opened to the public Mother's Day 1988, and we will be going backwards in time all the way to our first room discovered, which was discovered in 1880, open to the public in 1881. Now,
The caves sit within Williams Canyon, which offers a rugged and picturesque view. The limestone cliffs, rock outcrops, and unique cave formations make it worth a trip. If you're an adrenaline junkie, there's a ropes course and the pterodactyl that launches you over the canyon at high speeds. I heard it was 100 miles per hour. As much as I've enjoyed Manitou Springs, the last day was my favorite. We drove to the top of America's mountain, Pikes Peak. If you love amazing mountain views and aren't afraid of steep gradients and sharp turns, you need to do this. There are other ways to get to the top, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. We've done this many years ago, but with the popularity of this drive, there have been some changes. You now need to buy a ticket and need to sign up for a timed entry during certain times of the year to drive the road. We always go early when things aren't busy. In addition to avoiding crowds, there's a couple of good reasons to do this. Bikers make this trek too, and to avoid bikers who like to fly down the mountain passing cars, you'll want to be long gone before this can happen. Another good reason to leave early are the afternoon thunderstorms. The weather can change on a dime, and you want to be gone before that happens. Remember to dress in layers. You'll be experiencing over 7,000 feet in elevation gain, and it can be quite a bit colder at the top. Something else to keep in mind is the altitude's effect on your body. With an elevation change like this, high altitude sickness can be common, so stay hydrated and take it easy. Believe me, the views will be worth it. We noticed these signs were placed on the sharp turns and realized that traffic is stopped if a shuttle bus was coming. Because of their length, they wouldn't be able to stay on one side of the road. When you reach the top, make sure you spend time going to the overlooks and read the signs. The visitor center has a restaurant, gift shop, as well as a display so you can learn more about the history of the mountain. Pikes Peak is known as America's Mountain. Catherine Lee Bates was inspired to write words to a poem after seeing the view at the top. Those words would later be put to music. When we flew balloons, we named one of them Purple Mountain Majesty, inspired by the song, and the fact that it was purple and being flown in the mountains.
Settlers also set their sights on the sacred mountain. Some, like explorer Zebulon Pike, were enticed by the challenge of reaching its summit. Others were lured by the prospect of riches or the promise of a new home. For many, the Great Mountain was the first thing they saw when crossing into the Colorado Territory at the end of a long and arduous journey. When the first road was constructed in 1887, a carriage could climb the 19 miles of steep curves to the summit for $1. By 1891, riders could sit back and enjoy the trip to the top on the Cog Railroad. A new kind of thrill seeker arrived. At the annual Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, drivers from around the world navigate the 156 turns in a race to the top. In 1956, Pikes Peak became host to an annual ascent and marathon on the Bar Trail, and bicyclists joined the fun in 2010 for the first Pikes Peak cycling hill climb on the Pikes Peak Highway.
I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's really hard to put it down.